Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome tonight to the DSL Welding V8 Supercars Championship, round 7 here at Okayama. It's quite a tight and twisty track we've got here, 3.65 kilometer length, and it looks to be a nice cloudy night/day around this track. At the moment, it's just myself. We're waiting for my co-commentator to get back from his break, and we'll just start off with me, nice and easy. But as always, guys, just a big shout out to our major sponsors. Shibi, if I can get that in my ear. DragonRC, our series sponsor. Pagnian Imports as our stream sponsor. Our new sponsor as well, one of our new sponsors, Toyo Sims, joining us as well, and DSL Welding as well for the Supercars itself sponsor. And Melbourne Equipment Qualifying Systems. Oh, we're in their qualifying session. It's a qualifying session, so our pole sitter we got from last week, we'll get that up. I think, yeah, Darren Lobb was our pole sitter. So we got quite a short field tonight. A few guys are just getting back from doing other races, and we got a few guys just rolling out for their first qualifying times. In practice, we had Bruce Tanek up the top. He did a 30.017, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Plus, we had a few of the Fishy boys join late, so they were just doing a Bathurst 1000 charity event, and now they're here, ready to jump on. Of course, they're going to have no practice, but that's what the Fishy boys do best. Jump in, and especially Blake Delaney. He's one of those guys that would just creep up at the end of qualifying and get up the front end, but also, one of my teammates, Gerard, he was quite an achiever, and he got into 4th position. So the battle for the top 3 was only separated by 1.2 of a second in quality practice. So once these boys start putting the lap times in and setting up the purple sectors, it should be good. It's quite a small track as well, and we got a sprint round. So the first race we got 20 minutes or 16 laps, and then we got a nice 10-minute break in between that, and then we go for a top 10 reverse grid, which is always my favorite, and then we go into a 40-minute race, or I think it was 32 laps, I think it is, because yeah, we skipped the middle feature, so a 32 lap inverted top 10. So this is 11 lap qualifier, 15 minutes, and I think we've only got one penalty too as well for our. So Bruce Senok, I think, as well, yeah, he's taking a penalty, so we rear of grid. So our fastest guy in practice will be starting from the rear of grid, because he had a rear of grid penalty from the last session. But as we see the boys now, Sam Noble at the top is done a 29.7, so straight away, done a great time of 29.7. And Blake Delaney, off the bat, one of the Fishy boys, 29.986. So those two top cars, and Cowie up there as well, have done a 130.37. So again, we've got only 4 minutes into this session, and these boys are already starting to light times up. As we look at Paul Gerlin here coming into the hip in one of my favourite corners, a great passing opportunity here as well. Just coming down here into the braking zone. I'm not sure if he's pushing too hard, but it's one of those tight technical tracks where you have to really trail the brake, kiss the corners, and if you run a little bit wide and kiss the grass, like we saw last week at Laguna Seca, as we see a car off in the background, you can spin around and go off. So it's an easy track to drive. It's one of the free tracks here on iRacing, and you normally drive a bit slower, lighter cars around this type of circuit. So it'd be interesting to see how these cars go. I actually have never driven a supercar around this track myself. So watching these guys and get to call a race, I'm glad I get to sit here and watch, because I've had no practice around it. So it's going to be definitely interesting. And the lap times, again, like they're just starting to click in. We've got Gerard, car number 12 now for Performance in Racing, sitting in P4 at the moment. It's where he was in qualifying, and he's on his second lap here, just pushing. So he's done a 130.417. And again, Andrew Cowie, he's sitting pretty nice in the third at the moment. So he's kind of replicated his time that he did in practice. So we'll just see if the other guys, again, as we said, we got a few boys taking a penalty from the last race, because if you don't make it back to pit lane, you request without requesting the tow, you do get a penalty. So, and this is, you know, we're deep in our championship now. The boys should know that, but sometimes you do kind of forget those things. So, you see Reese to go now, about to start his lap.
Evening, lads. So my sincerest of apologies. I had an alarm set for this, which didn't go off.
Well, here we got our co-commentator now. Here's Scotty. Ragon Rankin, mate. How you doing?
Oh, yeah, not too bad. I've actually been looking forward to this all week. I'm a big fan of Okayama, and I was actually up there talking to a few of the guys a little bit earlier on. Mal Powell said he was very keen for it. Unique track. Was struggling to find a setup that suited him around here, and he said the setup he felt most at home on actually was a Bathurst setup that he'll be using next weekend during the iRacing official Bathurst 1000. Leaky was just sort of turning laps and not trying to let the car get out from underneath him, so there's a few guys I was having a chat to.
Yeah, I also had a chat with the guys as well, and the Cowie, he said he was running a Red Bull ring setup around here, so
yeah,
I jumped on my Winton setup on and tried to do a lap, and it was a bit too squirrely for me because, again, I've never really driven on this track before, but it's a nice track. I like racing the Cadillac here. It was one of the Mustang S5000, I think, was one of those cars I drove here a lot, but as I said, the Supercars are a whole different beast around a track like this.
Well, it's really interesting you actually say that, Tyson, particularly in that manner. This is something we actually discussed on Wednesday night for the TCRs and Formula 3s, was that this is effectively one of iRacing's entry-level tracks. So we're going to see somebody find the sandbank.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's one of those tracks that's perfect for teaching you, because this has everything in it, in a really sort of tight, compact layout that's perfect for smaller cars. But it's not for a V8 supercar.
I think I just saw Dyke going off the side of the track there, and if you listen to me, Dyke, you need to stop mowing that lawn and start doing some laps, alright? Because we know you're one of our frequent listeners in the on the broadcast. We see a car go sideways out of turn 3, and as we look on board, both the performance sim racing guys there are line of stern, so maybe they're doing a bit of towing. Is that maybe a technique cars will use around here?
What, towing back to the which part? Sorry.
Giving you, oh god, you should know
giving
this.
each other a okay.
Come on.
You said tow, and I'm sitting here going, wait, why are they towing back to the pits? What advantage does that give?
Well, they get back to pit lane.
Yeah, look, during qualifying, during practice, yeah, that's an advantage, but during the race, maybe not so much. Yeah, look, I mean, it's all help, isn't it? But the problem is you kind of want that aero working. Yeah, the difference in setups. Okayama, I think, is a track that actually hasn't been on an official schedule for V8 Supercars in about a year. So, and the cars haven't had a couple of little tweaks to them since then, which means that those setups are out of date. They're effectively useless. So
That's right, yes.
Yeah, the guys are scrapping. That's why when we talk about Bathurst setups, when we talk about Red Bull Ring setups, that's why. It's because these guys have got to find generally the best way to go when you're trying to build a setup for a track that doesn't have one is you find something that's close and you start tweaking from there. So these guys would have been scrapping for a viewpoint like that. Tyre fall off. I'm not expecting a huge bit of tyre fall off, not like Canadian Tire Motorsport Park we had earlier in the season, where it was just you got one good lap and that was it.
Yeah, and the tyres kind of overheated there as well, quite. But as we see, Gerard now, he's just jumped up one spot. Get his teammate there, Cowie. So Gerard's on a nice 30.2. Delaney's still done. He's only 29.86, so he's sitting still in P2. And Sam Noble hasn't improved much on his time either.
Now we're coming down to 5 minutes and a little bit to go, with Delaney coming through towards the tail end of the lap at this point in time. Timing charts have been lit up. So he is on a flyer. 2 best sectors in the session. Out of the final corner. Dodges that 1X. That's crucial. Gets back to the line. Is it going to be an improvement? It is going to be an improvement. I don't know if it's good enough to jump up to P1.
It is.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yep, he's done a great job there, and he's done a really good time. He's got 4/10 on his previous lap, and he's up in the par P1. So he's done a good job there. We saw before his teammate running a nice new livery on his car, and I think it was Coleman with the shades on the side as a new sponsor, I think. So he's doing a good job. And as you see Taylor here, just a few of the boys just setting in the rim. They've only got 11 laps or when the 15 minutes passes. So we can see already a few of these cars are up in the high, 7, 8, 9s for laps. So they've only got a few more to go until they can, have to park it up and wait for qualifying to finish.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a heat format here for you tonight, which means the instant that timer expires for qualifying, that is it. Session will end within about 3 seconds there afterwards. So, it's not about jumping in and getting out there and starting your final lap when that timer expires. It's about getting it done now, which is why you see Jamie Dyke immediately on the anchors, immediately has to return to the pit lane because he's got to go now, or else he's not going to get another lap in.
Yep, and he's got P3 there, and he's done a 29.9, which is what his teammate did in his first couple of laps. So he's just rolling out again out of pit lane. As you see David Coleman, he crosses the line, done a 31.4, and he's just, again, probably getting into a rhythm with this track because it's not a track we race in a supercar.
And Jamie Dyke wouldn't have put a lot of laps in for tonight. I mean, he would have done some. You don't come into these things fresh.
Oh no, he'd be coming in this race fresh. It's what his line is. He will come in practice, because he had the big Bathurst 1000 today. So Jamie would be just coming in fresh eyes to see how he can go with this one.
Oh, he'd be fresh in the session for sure. But he would have done part of the thing is when you've got a clustered weekend like this, you come in and you make sure that you get some laps in early and make sure that you're comfortable. You don't have to be confident. You have to be comfortable. And then you just sort of run from there and you settle yourself in, you learn a little bit. And the benefit is for sprint races, particularly with that reverse grid feature, he's got two bites at the cherry. Settles himself in for race number one and goes, ooh, this went backwards here and here. He goes, okay, I'm going to make these adjustments early. I'm going to look after the tire a little bit more. I'm going to, do this and I'm going to do that. So he'll be looking for that. Keep your eyes on him. Right, who's on flying laps at this point in time? Greg Johnson's about to improve on his lap time. Car coming into pit lane. That is down towards the final corner now. And Greggy will round that one. Matty Keane has 3 best sectors for him. So he is improving quite dramatically. Grip level in the track is starting to come up as that rubber has been laid down on the session. So Johnson will improve. Coleman looks like he improved in 1 sector. I'm not sure if he went faster overall. Matty Keane jumps up a few spots to P number 12. Locke to Goey both coming around the final corner. Cowan's not going to improve.
His lap. So we will again watch Jamie Dyke here. I think we might just keep an eye on him because he's starting his lap and just seeing how difficult all the steering inputs he's going to put in here. And he comes down to the first of the big hairpins.
So it looked like David Coleman might have actually had a hardware failure there because it was just sort of parked on the exit of turn ones, but he's managed to tow it back to the pits now. He won't have a chance to start another lap. If the guys are on laps now, anyone that's crossing the start-finish line now, it's too late. They needed to be on a lap probably about 10 seconds ago. A little bit longer than that. It would be about 20 seconds ago, 25 seconds ago now. So
that's right.
You're sort of looking at Michael Locke is probably the last car that will get his lap in. So Dyke, this will be it for him. He'll be throwing everything at this lap. He will be looking to eke out every little advantage he possibly can. Greg Johnson's about to complete another lap, only 1 minute and 30-second lap, so they are going to come thick and fast. Chris Miller's going to improve slightly in 1 sector, but not improve his overall time. Daniel Clutterbuck isn't going to improve, gets the 31 in. Hodgkinson's in the 32s. Cowan's quick in the first sector. New PB for the session in sector number 1. But has Cowan got enough time? Yeah, he's going to come out of the final corner and get a run. The benefit is he's had Jamie Dyke towing him around that entire lap. Has that improved the time for Andrew Cowan? Yes, it has.
So Cowan's done actually a really good lap there. He's, jumped Jamie Dyke. He's straight into P3, 2/10 off Blake Delaney. He'd be stoked with that lap.
And I think that was Jamie Dyke going, I'm not happy that you've managed to find me and get that tow off of me. So that's critical. Remember, if Cowan's going to get his season refired and he's going to sneak P1 away in Super 2, that may be the deciding factor. Well, it's going to be your Melville Equipment Corporation pole position. His first one of the season, Blake Delaney, gets it done in the Fishy Motorsports number 08. Sam Noble for 9.5 will start off the front row alongside of him. Andrew Cowan with that late lap jumps his way onto the second row on the inside of that one for Performance Sim Racing. Jamie Dyke, the second of the Fishy Motorsports cars. How many times has that happened so far this season? not many, that's for sure. Gerard Sanfuentes and Kai Turner are going to make up your third row on the grid. Hope for Kai Turner's son will be watching away at home tonight. Big shout out if he is. Alan Dawson and Daniel Clutterbuck are row number 4. Troy Dooley, that's a phenomenal qualifying performance for Troy. He's had a few iffy races in the Formula 3. Be hoping for a good one here tonight. Michael Quash, followed by Stefan Lawrence and Matty Keane on the first page there. And crucially, Matty Keane is going to be 9 spots on the track back from Andrew Cowan. Chris Miller and Reese DeGoey. That's the strongest qualifying performance we've seen out of Reese DeGoey so far this season. Peter Pavlovich, David Blake on 15th and 16th. Paul Gerland's a long way back alongside of Mal Powell and the Whiskey Runners machine. David Coleman continues his run of poor qualifying performances and making his way through the field. We'll start off alongside of Dean Sinkovich, rounding out the 20. Greg Johnson and Greg Leake, the Team Greg lockout off of 21 and 22, although I think Greg Murphy will be a little bit disappointed to see them that far back. Callan Hodgkinson and Brett Taylor, 23 and 24. Throwing it over the page, we've got Michael Locke and the first of our non-qualifiers, which will be Bruce Tannock, alongside our 2 safety car drivers immediately behind them. Greg Barber and Dylan Thomas, and Deacon Gerland rounds us out in P29. Ready and set for a start here in about 10 seconds time. Those lights will go out. We have a maximum distance for our first race of 16 laps or 20 minutes, whichever comes first. Safety car means we will be time certain. Lights are starting to come on. Revs will rise. V8 Supercars. The DSL Welding Services. That's what I thought. I saw one wiggle as well. There might be a drive-through penalty coming at the tail end of this lap. And racing car.
Got a shocker.
That might be. Is that Stefan Lawrence on his way through? Alan Dawson. Both of them got really good launches. The car trying to get down the inside of a purple car in the back was alongside Michael Locke. I thought it was back there. And settling themselves into turn number 1. Cowie's gone absolutely nowhere. He's dropped a whole ton of positions. Clutterbuck's going to lead away your Super 2s. And it was Cowan who led them off of the starting grid, but he has dropped 2 spots, picks one back up from Troy Dooley. It was Troy Dooley's car I saw down the inside of Cowie. Because Cowie got escorted real wide there. They'll settle themselves down in. Now heading down the back straight. This is a great opportunity to ride on board the run down here to the hairpin. This is where most of your overtakes are going to get done. It's the cleanest opportunity to get a move done down the inside, and Delaney...
Gone down the inside.
Amy Dykes got through on Sam Noble and will slot himself up into P2. Cowan trying to get the move done on Dooley. Still got to defend him off. Has finally completed that pass. Now it's going to be Dooley fight alongside of Stefan Lawrence. Dooley's not going to get the run from the inside. Did well to get through there without bumping, but now he's just losing time to all these guys. Sanfuentes will line him up down the inside, and well done by Dooley not to turn in on the nose right there of the number 12 driver, and they'll settle themselves in. David Blake at the back end of the field has either had a really, really poor start or something's happened, or he started from pit lane, and I think he has actually had a spin on the first lap. So we'll review that one here in a few moments. But this is Sanfuentes who's on his way back through. Teammate will be just a few cars down ahead of him. Have a look at Troy Dooley. This is important, I think, for Sanfuentes. Wants to get down the inside. Will dive on the brakes late from Sanfuentes, but Troy Dooley will let it happen. Picks up the throttle, big wiggle, hangs onto the spot. Well done by both of those guys.
He went very deep into that corner there, and as you see, his rears were still locked as he's trying to get onto the power, and the car stepped out. But yes, great car control. We see a car on the fence.
Michael Locke's got an issue. There is a car that was just going past the left-hand side of your screen.
That was definitely Dean Sinkovich in the fence there.
So we'll have to review that. There's a little bit to sort. 26 cars, remember, make the grids here tonight. Chris Miller's earned himself a penalty for contact with a car on the first lap. I think it was Kai Turner. Contact from Peter Pavlovich! And that's going to trigger in a Reese DeGoey. And it is a parking lot down at the hairpin. And now DeGoey gets hit again. Everyone trying to work their way through. Somebody down the inside there again, still sorting itself out. Pavlovich has gone backwards.
Cowie's off. Cowie's off and around.
And Sanfuentes is going to get dive bombed here. So we have got a few replays to have a look at here. There's another car backwards. Kai Turner. My word.
Was in P4 and he's done that. Carey was sitting in P7 and went around. So we've got cars going everywhere.
And now a car filing to pit lane. That'll be the 666. Who's Chris Miller coming to serve his penalty. He's issued one for contact with
there's another car.
That's such a weird spot for a car to be going off. Is that Cullen Hodgkinson? It is.
There goes Cowie through, so yeah, Cowie's dropping.
Oh, huge contact. That is Kai Turner, I think, that just got hit. Bruce Tannock has made his way from the rear end of the field through to P11 amongst all the shenanigans.
I feel like I'm watching the rugby league when I saw everybody getting sent off the field today, but here we see cars getting sent off the track.
Mate.
Oh, it's mayhem.
What is going on here? Everything's just lined itself up, and that's David Coleman grabbing himself a spot. He's up to P6 in Super 1. He's on the move. That's a great drive from Coleman early. He stayed clear of everything. He's probably had one of the hardest drives, and he does this every single week. But he's lined himself up really, really nicely, and he's grabbed a whole bunch of spots now.
He's got damage as well, though.
No, sorry, that's Alan Dawson and Daniel Clutterbuck finding each other quite aggressively. Where do you look? It's a 90-second lap around here. And there's already just melee from end to end. Delaney and Dyke have broken away. They've got the front two positions covered off because of obviously that incident and all that swapping of positions that's happened in behind them. Something's happened to Sam Noble. Because he was P3. He didn't get a great launch, but he was still P3 at the end of the first lap. So, Noble, we think, is gone for a drive through pit lane.
Yeah, there was a few. Only Chris Miller's the only one that had a black flag, so that could have been Noble, the one off the start. Remember, we did say
yeah,
we saw a car off the start, and it could have been P2, and we'll hold on to that. I think it was, because we did both say we saw a car move on the race start, and it was definitely one of the front fronts.
Yeah, it was very much right up the front. So whether or not he's just plucked the gear and hasn't had the clutch in properly, and the car's just lurched forwards. But
and if he was a drive-through, I don't think he would be, that far back. It's definitely going to be, that stop and hold penalty you get. So,
my word, it is just gone nuts here at Okayama.
And guess what? We get to do it all again with the reverse top 10 next race too. So, as it starts to settle down, these guys are hopefully going to get into a rhythm. We're only on lap 4. We've had so much action, 8 minutes into this race. And it's been jam-packed. We've got a whole bunch of replays. It's going to be hard to go back and find it. I feel sorry for our producer in the background trying to figure out which ones are the good battles. You see the battle now as we go live. Back to the Fishy Boys up front, Blake Delaney and Dyke. Dyke's the one in the green car doing a drifty. He goes, I'm on TV, I'm going to do a little slide here. And he's just got a little bit sideways, sitting right at the back of his teammate. This is going to be a good battle for the win.
Is just leaving pit lane now. So that's how far down the order he's gone. Now to the outside goes Dyke. He'll look for this race lead. He's going to settle himself in, I think. I think he's just going to be a little bit more cautious about how he approaches this. There's no reason to biff on for these guys. They're gone.
Jamie, if you're hearing me, mate, I want you to send it. Let's get a good show for the front, right? As we see already, Delaney going defensive down towards the hairpin.
Oh, he heard you.
Let's go. Let's see some racing. He's going to hold around the outside. SVG style. He's going to get the crisscross done. No, he's going to stick on the outside. The headlights are on. See if he gets the flash in the headlights. Try to put his teammate off.
Anyway, we're going to have a look back here. This is Cowie down the inside of a limping Kai Turner and Michael Locke. So Cowie had to sit there for an extended period of time and still lights the tyres out. But Turner's going to have a damaged engine, and his aerodynamic performance isn't going to be great. So theoretically, Cowie should hang on to this at the tail end of the straight. Blinking out from Turner. That's not going to be confidence-inducing. But Cowie's going to get away with it. That's good driving. That is good predictive driving.
Cowie did a good job there. Yep. The car disappeared in his mirror, and he's got a big, nice setup. And as soon as he would have seen that car disappear, as you saw, he opened up the door there. So good respecting driving there from Andrew.
Because it's completely disconcerting when you're side by side with somebody and they disappear. But there are ways you can mitigate disaster, Tyson. And that's right. One of them right there.
Because you can literally have that car re-appear inside you if you're in a spot, and that sends you into a netcode frenzy and puts you in the fence. And I think that he did the right thing to move out of the way.
I've seen it just destroy engines immediately, and that's it. That's race done at that point. So There's no, you know, risk versus reward.
Oh, as you see the other performance sim racing car, Jerry going down the inside. He's got the hut there. Oh, he's got a little bit squirrely on the exit there. Sitting the slipstream, see if he can move the down in the hairpin in the yellow Bumblebee car, we're going to call it. He does get down the inside. He was pretty good in the brakes in the turn one. He gets the job down, a little bit of contact, but hey, rubbing is racing, so he's got the job done, but on the wrong side for the next corner and has to sit back behind again.
Jerry's going to get the spray paint and the polish back out after this race and rub that one back out. Anyway, Cowie and Turner are going to continue their battle, albeit
Here's round two.
Back is, well, Cowie's on the inside this time, so theoretically he should get this done, get down the inside, get clear, and does so nicely this time from Kai. It will be interesting to see whether or not Kai fights him back for this one. Not full position in class, mind you, because Super 1 and Super 2 are differentiated. So Sam Noble obviously running in last in Super 1 at this point in time.
So battle. Gerard going down the inside, but cut off in the braking zone there. But look at the damage on the side of his car there. One side looks nice, and the other car just looks damaged. So he's sitting currently in P6, trying to get into that top 5 spot. After he did qualify in 5th as well. His teammate was in front of him, so really trying to fight here.
We're settling ourselves into the battle that has continued on, and just down the road there's another one as well, which I believe that was Dawson. That might be Clutterbuck still going at it actually. So they're only just down the road, and that's important. Those guys need to be aware of that. Critically, have a look at where Matty Keenan's sitting in the Super 2 standings at this point in time, because he's in P4 and Andrew Cowan is in P13. We're just hearing that Gerard Sanfuentes has gone off track.
No, he had damage there before, so has he just dropped a few spots here? Because the car doesn't look too much damage before.
He's dropped a spot to
so he might try and get the replay up and see if we can see that.
But not necessarily. Well, first of the DSL Welding Services replays tonight.
But he's definitely not along these cars again, so...
Well, that's Dooley behind him, and he's just fractionally too deep and downshifted.
And he's straight on the bow to keep it rotated and off the ball. He's done a good job there, and he's just going to rotate around, and off he goes. So he's done a good job there. That was a nice little show. Of course, he only lost a spot, but not optimal for those rear tyres. You know, they get a little bit overheated there, but that was a good spin there, Jerry. Well done.
Blink and you'll miss it is basically how this race has gone so far, because we're 8 of the 16 laps and 11 minutes and 15 seconds into. Sorry, my apologies. Take 2 minutes out of that, because that includes the warm-up to grid timer, or the formation timer, for the guys to form onto the grid. So we are 9 minutes into this race, so we will be lap certain, provided we don't see a safety car. Commentators curse incoming in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we got through it.
Oh, well, lucky we got through that hairy heart-moving safety car moment there, Scotty. The gap at the front as well was kind of, eked up to about 6/10. So Jamie's, sitting behind, and he, might be working with his teammate to make it through. Did we see a car off there?
That was Gerard Sanfuentes again.
Yeah, he's dropped down to 12 now. Yeah, he's dropped down 7 spots. Gerard, he can't catch a break in this series.
I would say that's some overheated rear tyres.
Yeah, you're probably right there, because he did cook them on his beautiful spin.
He cooked them properly. It was a very fancy spin. I will give him points for that, but unfortunately, you've also got to drive the car back afterwards. Down the inside now for Daniel Clutterbuck. This one not for position in class. Clutterbuck, the leading Super 2 driver. He'd love me for telling them that I was the leading Super 1 driver and should therefore be leader on the track, but it's Super 2. So he will get the job done there on Alan Dawson. So that is actually for 3rd overall on the track. So Super 2 drivers continuing to punch above their weight.
That's it, and we do have a nice big Super 2 field, but it doesn't disgrace that they're slow drivers. We've seen Cowie. You go to Canadian Tire, who's up the front qualifying in front of one of the other Super 1 drivers, his teammate, and he come here as well, put it on 3rd. So just because it has a Super 2 next to them doesn't mean that a Super 2 class driver, because you can graduate, go to Super 1, And you know, if we do that next season, you know, registration is open for next season, guys. So if you're here listening on, all our registration's open. Head to our website, join us on our Discord, and definitely, even if you're listening here and just enjoy it, smash the like button and join us next season.
Yeah, that's it. So registrations are now open. Racing just about every night of the week. Starting with your Monday night NASCAR Truck Series will be making the return. I believe we've locked in the Dirt Sprint Cars for Tuesdays as well. Don't know what the organisation is going to look like for what series are running on what nights for the rest of the week, but there will be a mix of TCR, Porsche, Formula 3, what am I missing? Radicals, and a V8 Supercars. That's what I was going to say. I knew it was an exciting one. I knew it was an interesting one. I just couldn't remember which exciting. Well, the problem is they're all so good these days that it's kind of hard to say one's an interesting, exciting one.
Well, that's right. And you know, my personal favourite is the TCR series. You know, that's the one I'm running in, and it's getting a lot of great racing. And I really encourage a lot of everybody who hasn't really tried them just to jump in, and they're a ball of fun.
I'm disappointed in you this week, Tyson. You managed to let Adam Hughes win a race.
I'm sorry. I had my grand final dinner this week, and I couldn't be a no-show for that. If I get a chance to suit up and look fresh, it's I'm doing
it. I'm changing the nickname I gave you from last week from Whistles to Mr. Fresh, I think. Oh no, that's gonna stick. Cracking on with it, the Fishy Boys will still continue to edge their way out ahead. They're now 7 seconds ahead of Daniel Clutterbuck, but did I just hear David Coleman ask for a tow? That is, yeah, it was car 640.
Let's try and find him on track.
He's on the exit of pit lane. So he hasn't
too late
hit
in the race. Too late in the
prior
race.
to
They can't
that,
call a safety car, so he has to just give that tow.
Well, a couple things going on there. Number one, why is he parked there of all places? Which says to me there's an engine failure. Is the old Rick Kelly livery lights up some tyres in the background. Why is he there on the main straight? That's a peculiar one. That says a blown engine.
That is quite strange. But let's try and switch our attention now to the battle for the top 10. Because if you're 10th, you're on pole next race.
Yeah, that's critical. Well, Paulie Gerland's got it locked in at the moment. Yeah, it's an engine. It's a blown engine for David Coleman. I've just gone back and had another look at it. I'd say he's gone for an upshift and slapped the wrong paddle.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. So as we see here, Paul Gerland is our pole setter for the next race. At the moment, of course, anything can change. You can spin out, you can do a burnout, you could pop an engine, you could mow the lawn. Anything can happen in the space of a lap of a race.
Look, this is a good opportunity to say big shout out actually to one person from the league this week. Would you believe it? It's his birthday. I'm not sure if you know about this, Tyson. It's actually Steven Sinkovich's birthday.
Oh, that's a poor excuse for not being here.
I mean, that's you say poor, I say great excuse. The reason he's actually not here, his internet's out.
I mean, happy birthday, Steve. Well, no, because we see Greg go.
Back from David Blake to the rear end of Greg Johnson, and he does his best Gerard Sanfuentes impersonation. So race controller straight on and over to that one. I guarantee you that'll be a redress.
You know, this car we're looking at right now, this toll car, was one of my absolute favourite supercar liveries when it was out. And it looks amazing on the new car as well.
I'm going to say I enjoyed the livery right up until the point that Craig Lowndes got punted off by it and lost the championship. So I do like the livery. It was what went on with the livery on that I didn't like.
It was Rick Kelly's car, isn't it?
It was Rick Kelly, yeah.
Yeah.
What's his championship winning livery, I believe.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my favourite cars. And then they swapped over to Jack Daniels, and then it was just, you know, delicious.
Was that sarcasm or was that legitimate?
So talk about that was my dad joke for the day. So.
Oh.
But yeah, that's enough.
Gone over the head. I'm sorry. It's gone over my head. You've done me in. Well, unfortunately, we're in the land of the rising sun, but this looks more like land of the setting sun because sim time's locked to 5:50. Oh no, it is land of the rising sun. 5:50 a.m. My apologies. Other way around. Is actually the server time, and it gets locked into that. So we're in the land of the rising sun all night.
Yep, and the only thing that's going to change is the track. So the track evolution will always change. As we can see, a nice dark line on the racing line, and on the other side of the line is nice and shiny. So we see a little squirreliness. I think Jamie might have a run here. Depends how good he is. He does. Delaney in front, goes straight defensive, and we can see the tow master here, the vape master, trying to get a tow. Yeah, and he pulls out, and he's just. These boys, I want to see action. I want to see
just
pushing,
out.
shoving.
They're waiting for the last lap. They're waiting for the last lap. It's going to explode.
Put him in the fence. I want action. Let's go.
They're gonna be listening to us right now, and their goal for the entire last lap is to drive the whole lap side by side. They've got a 10-second lead. Surely they can do it.
That's right. We want the action here. It's a battle for the lead. Technically, the battle for 10th in the next starting grid for qualifying. So let's go. Who wants to be 10th? No one wants to be 9th. We want to see you battle for 10th. Let's go. Come on, Jamie. Pressure's on.
So I will say a couple of things at the moment, Tyson. We've just heard from race control there was a drive-through penalty issued to David Blay for that contact with Greg Johnson. Now, interestingly enough, the only reason David Blake is back there is because of the contact with Chris Miller on lap 1. If he doesn't get punted, he doesn't make contact. He's not back there to make contact with Greg Johnson.
He's Reese with a nice white window as his rear 2 windows. He's pushing on to make the.
Surely he's got like a children's character on that side window, and baby on board stuck somewhere on the rear bumper of that car. He's got the sunshade on. What? Oh no, it's just the car number. I got excited then for a minute. I might have called something, but it's just the car number.
He's got a little bit of damage to that car as well, so he'd be kind of happy to limp it back to the race here. Of course, nobody's happy finishing him at the back of the grid, but if we now switch, I think has Paul made a mistake here because he was in 10th.
So Paul Gerland's in 10th overall.
Okay, he's still in 10th. My timing again, like beautiful, was showing me Gerard in 10th, so I got a bit excited.
Kai Turner has actually just gone ahead and pulled the pin, so something else has happened to Kai Turner. Whether or not that's a graphics issue and he knows he's out of points contention for the remainder of this race or something further has happened, and he's doing a restart of the session to try and be able to get back in or
we
not.
Should be on the last lap as well now, as we are. As they come around the corner, we see Blake Delaney going to take the checkered flag for 10th position for Paul as he does a nice little drift. That was beautiful car control there. And Jamie flashes the lights and says, "It's all right, I'm in front of you next race." Job's done.
Yeah, well, they finished 1 and 2. That's the important part. Who's going to cross the line next? Dawson's going to take P3 away in terms of Super 1, but it's going to be Clutterbuck that grabs P3 overall, which will restart him in 8th for this next race. Troy Dooley grabs a really well-deserved P2 in Super 2. Lawrence and Tanek are across the line. Tanek serving a rear of field. That's what they look like in terms of the overall running order. Matty Keane picks up a whole big bag of points. Now, when you're trying to look after a championship here, Tyson, and you're trying to take that thing down the line, Cowie had a big opportunity here tonight to score a bank of points over Matty Keane. And I think he's only got himself to blame. I don't know that there was contact to Cowie because he's looked clean.
Yeah, I think that's one of Cowie's little things he needs to fix in his racing, and he knows it as well. Like he starts, especially with a shorter gear ratio, it's very hard to get the car off the line. And then he's obviously on the back pedal from the start, and then he's made that mistake trying to push that car extra hard, cold tyres, and he's just looped it. And I think Gerard as well, his teammate, literally done the same thing.
So obviously setup helps there. The longer the gear ratio. So what are they talking about is in terms of gear ratio. Gear ratio is one of the tweakers they can play with in these cars. The longer the gear ratio, the less acceleration you get. The less
that's right.
Spinning of those rear tyres is what Tyson's trying to talk about. Well, that'll tell us the Heat 1 Results. We've got ourselves a 10-minute break here in between the heat and the feature race. So the sprint race and the longer format race here later on. But Fishy 1-2 yet again. That's big. It's a huge margin out in front and looks very similar to what we saw back at Fuji.
Yeah, that's right. I might try and grab Cowie and try and get an explanation for what happened in that one. So
We've got an opportunity. Do you reckon we can grab a replay of potentially that first lap? We'll see if we can bring you a replay of that opening lap, because it was not just that, there was a whole bunch of stuff that actually went on. Well, unfortunately, we're actually not going to be able to jump backwards and see what we can do for you. But yeah, it was a hectic opening lap, and
I've got Cowie in the green room as well. So let's bring him up here and we'll try and suss out what happened off the start and during the race. So, Cowie, how you doing, mate? Pretty, I'd say, average start for you, bro. Do you want to give us a quick lowdown on your start? We saw you spin around. We didn't get a replay of it, but we're trying to hunt it down. Could you just give us a quick lowdown on what happened?
Well, the start was horrible. I don't know, just too much. I got wheel spin right from the start, so I had to get out of it, and that just meant I got swamped. I was able to stay on the outside, and I think I was at 7 or something. But yeah, just on the back section, so after the straight and the hairpin, the next sort of double left-hander, I think I just maybe got a bit of curve, maybe a bit of grass. I don't think I got tapped. Yeah, pretty close. So, and I just looped around, and then I had to wait for the whole field to come through. So yeah, not what I was looking forward to. I was
a
enjoying
bit
the
of
pace.
unluck again, Cowie. You know, you get these great qualifying positions, and then you just run into a wall that says bad luck.
Yeah, you mean that that's not bad luck, mate. I stuffed it up, but
the wall's called lack of talent. He runs out of talent.
Oh, look, I had some fun trying to fight my way back through, but yeah, it just cost me a lot of time. So I was hoping to get somewhere near the top 10, but 14th is probably fairly good in the end, seeing I've got all the way back to last.
Well, that's it. And you're going to have a really good chance here in the second race. You know, it's a longer race. Top 10, of course, you're not in the top 10, but you can hopefully, you know, follow maybe those fishy guys through the pack here, because it is a top 10 inverted. Second chance, second bite of the cherry, 32 laps, 40 minutes. So.
Oh no, man! I think I'm only able to get one of these sprint format races right. So I had a great one at Canadian Tire and stuffed the second race. So I've stuffed this one, the first race now. So hopefully I can have a good one.
Well, what's the fuel numbers? Is it confirmed? Like you're gonna do you don't need to stop, or will there be a pit stop possibly?
Look, if there's a safety car for sure, no stop. The numbers are tight. I think I worked out it was 20 at a fuel burn of 2.9 a lap. It's 26.7 laps or something like that. And I doubt it's going to go more than 26, 27 laps at absolute max. So yeah, so I think we can make it home. You might have to splutter around for the cool down lap, but especially if there's in a tow, I think that's going to help as well. The fuel burn will come down.
We know the fishy guys can do that quite well. You know, the saving fuel games. So is that something you might try in this race, or are you just going to go, you know, balls to the wall and send it?
Probably early on I'm going to send it, but I'll see where I'm at. So, you know, if I can save a bit, because there's certain places where you don't even try a pass, you know, so if I can save a bit in those spots, and, you know, I think when I was doing my practice, I might have had to save for a couple of laps to do the stint, but it's not very much at all. So I think the guys more experienced at it will have no problem.
Well, just looking at the average lap time potentially in that first race. So if we take Daniel Clutterbot towards the end, there's next to no tire at fall off. He's running in the 31.3 sort of range, just about close to the stint. That's 90 seconds. So every 3 minutes you're doing about 2 laps. So you're doing very, very close to 2 laps. 40 minutes here for the feature. So 30 minutes you're going to get 15 laps. 6, yes, you're going to be 27. You're going to be just about bang on guaranteed a 27th lap, I would say.
It depends, because remember, it all works out off the pace of the guy at the front, and you know, if he makes it inside the minute and a half, there'll be an extra lap. So, but but I think, you know, if there's a safety car early, you might see a few guys go in and just splash to make sure they get home. Tyres are going to be the big issue because although I don't think the tyre deck's really high, when you're trying to do 20 plus laps on the set of tyres, it only takes one little mistake or spin and you've just, you know, overheated them and chewed them up, and it's hard for them to recover.
Yeah, we saw Gio, your teammate, do that as well. He had a little bit of a spin and cooked those rears, and then had another spin a few corners later. So, but
I won't repeat what he said because it's not
yeah,
PG,
I bet he
so-
said some colourful words and how good and how lucky he is. But we'll let you get back to it, mate. And
Well, I was going to say, just before we let you go, what's the tyre stop looking like in terms of the amount of time that you're in the pit lane? Obviously, you're going to come down and you're going to go grab a splash of fuel whilst you're there, because why not? Is it, you know, is there a benefit?
I think it's 16 litres generally covers the tyres. You won't need 16 litres.
No, you won't need 16 litres, but
Yeah.
you
So
know,
you're talking
just
about 8 to 10 seconds for the pit stop. I'm not sure how those guys get 7-second stops. Don't know where you're supposed to stop to get that. But I think it's a bit random anyway in iRacing. As for the total stop length, I'm not sure, but you know, even if you look at it at 40 seconds and 20, say 45 seconds or 40 seconds, at 26 laps, you know, you need to be a second and a half a lap quicker to make that up. And I think
plus
when I
before
was
your
looking at,
tyres fall off the cliff.
yeah,
as
that's
well.
right. And when I was thinking of the numbers, I think, you know, you lose about half a second off the tyres about 4 or 5 laps in, maybe 3, depending on how hard you drive.
So talk to us about where your tyres were at. So that was 14 laps, I think it was, for that race then, 14, sort of 15 lap range. What was the percentages like on the tyres after that?
I don't think it's showing me because it's saying 95 and 96, so I think maybe it went out.
Well, you haven't been out during this session, so yes, that would be correct.
Look, I think when I was doing some full stint practice, I think my left tyres, so rear left inside and left front inside, were at about 50-some%.
So it's close to just sort of falling. So tyre management is going to be tyre management probably more than fuel management is going to be a critical factor of this race, because if you can't, I mean, if you can go the distance on the fuel, but the tyres aren't there, well, that stop might actually be worth it, you know. So
well, that's
anyway.
right. And as soon as you have a mistake out there, you suddenly chew percentage out of that tyre, and it never recovers too. So. We
Right,
might
mate.
see if you guys gamble and go for tyres in the stop, but we'll see what happens. If there's a safety car, a late one, we might see a few flurries. We'll see how it goes. Could make it
You might just see a whole bunch of guys just stay out, because why not? Let's have a crack.
Well, that's it. And I mean, there's not many of the Super 1 boys out there tonight, I don't think. So it's looking pretty tight up at the top, and I was having a ball until I decided to loop it.
More importantly, how's the preparation going for the iRacing official Bathurst 1000 next weekend?
Well, apart from the fact that I forgot about it and booked a gig on the same night.
Oh,
So I think Jerry and I are looking at doing it, and Jerry's might have to double stint to come home because I love the back off to go and set up the gig.
Howie, what have you
Yeah.
done?
Yeah, I did the same thing last year, man. So.
Okay, so we were talking about Formula 3s and at Interlagos, and I said, how dare anyone, you know, commit blasphemy talking about Interlagos, Paulie? Cowie, I'm sorry, but that is right up there with the greatest of sins in the sim racing.
Well, I haven't completely stopped myself. I'm going to be able to do my stints and everything, so it'll be good. But I think my gig starts at 6:30. I'm probably going to have to leave home 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock on the latest. So that might mean Jerry's got to bring it home for us. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Should be awesome fun. As usual, it'll probably be super hot on track, so it'll be a matter of survival in that race too.
All right, mate. Well, pleasure. You've got about 40 seconds to go back, settle back in, and get ready for another restart. So
Good luck, mate.
all the best.
And yes, definitely smash it out there and.
Well,
get the car
40
playing.
seconds is just long enough, Cowie, to go to a practice start. Go do one, mate.
I
agree, go do one.
Thanks,
We'll
boys.
even watch out the exit of pit lane, so no problem.
Go on. All right, talk us through it. Jump. Have we got the camera on him? Here we go, boys. This is what a practice start looks like in the V8. Jump on board with Cowie, and he's going to give us one. No wheel spin, Cowie. That looked gorgeous. Well done, mate.
Yeah, I know. We couldn't do that in the race.
Just if you don't do that in the race, I'll move you up to your channel. But thanks for joining us, bro. And again, good luck for this race.
There we go. He even had another crack at it. Wasn't satisfied with one.
Yeah, he
Which
needed
is
that double
good.
one just to be safe. But again, we got that top 10. Scotty, take it in. Let's get ready for this one.
It is going to be your reverse grid race pole position. 40 minutes, maximum distance of 32 laps. Paul Gerlin finished in P10 last race, and we'll put the DSL Racing car up on pole position. Michael Quash, those guys had a phenomenal battle in the last race. We'll be alongside of him. Matty Keane, the championship leader for Super 2, is going to line up on P3 alongside the fast-starting Bruce Tannock. Got himself all the way back to 6th position overall. Or sorry, that looks like 7th position overall, my apologies, from a rear of grid start. Troy Dooley and Stefan Lawrence were there in the late stages of things. Alan Dawson got overtaken by Daniel Clutterbuck late to finish P4, with Clutterbuck took P3. And then the Jamie Dyke and Blake Delaney show off of what would have been the front row had we not decided to reverse the field.
Well, that's it. And now let's see how they can go. You know, they've got, I wouldn't say slow guys, but the guys they're not actually racing with. And it's a rude thing to say, but
Anyway,
you know, hopefully they can get through nice and clean. So
lights are out on the pace car. Sam Noble way back down the field now on P24, and they'll get a run off down towards the first corner. Car scattering. Your boy Cowie looks for an overlap in the midfield. He's going to try and jump up a number of places. Tannock gets 2 going down into the first corner. He's going to grab P2 away, and he is going to try and set sail on this one. Everyone makes it through, though.
but
So there was a car sideways.
We helped him, but we did
But
see, you're right, in the background a bit sideways. So race control straight onto that.
And down into Atwood Curve for the first time in our full-length feature race here this evening. Gerlin has now got a hard-charging Bruce Tannock filling his rear-view mirror, and that is what it looks like off of Atwood Curve. And down the back straight into the affectionately known hairpin at the end of the back straight.
Cars there as well. And I think that's already a fishy car. Is that Delaney or Dyke? It's Dyke, because Dyke's the green one, so he's... There's apparently a lot of action at the back here. We got comms going nuts, and we'll try and pull it up.
3 cars sideways at the hairpin. Oh no, it's Peter Pavlovich again who's gotten involved in it. And Greg Johnson! Oh, he is not having a good night
tonight.
Yeah, he's got tagged in both
the
of
outside here, 3 wide. Ooh. Well, that's going to be a slow down for sure. That car just took a lot of that curve. Yeah, he's already on the brakes, tapping the brakes to pull out of it because he's slowing down here. He took a bit too much curve there, and he's pulled off the racing line. Yeah, Gerard gets past, another car's going to go through as well. And I think he's cleared that slow down now.
He's got damage again there, Gerard Sanfuentes. A little bit of rubbing on the left-hand side again. Trying to settle back in. We'll see what happens as they attempt to file through for a second lap. Without a Greg Leake car, that thing always stands out. You can never miss Greg Leake out on the racetrack. Sam Fuentes is going to try and fire it down the inside of Sam Noble here. And he's going to have David Coleman to his outside. Noble's very deep, and Coleman's had to check up. And now here comes Petar Pavlovich, who he wasn't actually spun.
A really good run here. He's going to get both of them, I think, down to the hairpin.
Yeah, so Coleman went into that corner behind the pair of these guys. He's going to get to the inside. Move's not done yet. Round the outside from Sam Noble. He's got the nose ahead heading into the hairpin. And Coleman will try and edge him across the left-hand side. He's still down the inside. They will make their way through the flip-flop. Back through the double left-handers. They're still side-by-side from Noble and Coleman. And now they'll settle themselves down. No, there's still a nose there, and Noble will have a crack. Coleman covers it off.
Yeah, the car on the side of the track there is actually the race safety car thingy, so it wasn't actually a supercar.
Course vehicle, yeah.
That's it, the course vehicle, that's it.
Because
It confused me as well. I saw it the last race and I nearly called it, but then I went, oh wait, well, and then I looked again and it was...
you know why they're called a course vehicle, Tyson? Because they've got a rough surface.
I'm not replying, so...
You've had your dad joke, I've had mine. We're back to normal on the stream. Oh, lap 3.
It was a dad joke.
Sometimes you just got to get a little bit creative, Tyson. That one come to me in the spur of the moment.
I was going to reply. Anyway, back to racing. Dean Sinkovic, he's pushing on. As we see again, 2 wide with the Fishy Motorsport. Blake Delaney here going up the inside. Is he already
Comes
made the
Bruce
jump? He already
Tanek.
has.
Here comes Bruce
Jump.
Tanek looking to the inside of Paul Gerlin for the
Yeah,
race
but Jamie
lead.
as well.
Mike's going to try and get down the inside of Jamie Keane. He's going to hang it out around the outside there as Paul Gerlin, but I think Tanek's got that one done. Indeed he has. So Bruce Tanek takes control of this race. Stefan Lawrence will slot back there into third place. And now it's Jamie Dyke who has been released. He's got down the inside and he's got clear of Matty Keane. He will get clear of his own teammate as well. So I don't know how much fuel they might be saving, those fishy boys. Delaney might be just checking up just a little bit, trying to save some to get him home on a zero stopper. I love fuel saving races. They are the extreme in terms of driver, race, and fuel management. It's not just one thing that you've got to be managing. Oh no! The 12 of Gerard Sanfuentes has picked up a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, that might explain the contact he had on the side of his car, as you see him just entering pit lane now to serve that penalty. But yes, you're right. With the fuel save game, you got to do more than one thing. You know, you got to save it with the clutch. You got to really release. Don't over compression lock your brakes and then go into the. As I see a lot of people that haven't done that before as well, especially with saving fuel. It's not as easy. You got to clutch in, release nice and slow. But if you release with too many high revs, your car just wants to lock up and go sideways. So it's a very technical thing to do. And the fishy boys pull it off quite nice in some of them midfield as well.
So, does Sanfuentes now just sort of step back just a little bit and have a go at fuel saving? Because why not? You're going to have to cut your way through the field. You're going to be running slow anyway, so you may as well have a crack. That's
right. And you got really, with him taking a drive through there, he's not stopping for fuel. And everyone else, if they had to do that pit stop, as you said, they're the ones that are going to have to stop. He just drove through, so he can do, save fuel and make some gains. I think we've seen Sinkovic there make a move, and Delaney as well making a move. So he's getting behind his teammate there, and that was a nice clean move. Jamie's closed that gap, and I think he's only done that within 2 laps. So the battle for the podium spot now, Jamie's on a charge.
Yeah, so Paul Gerlin's now been passed by Stefan Lawrence as well and starting to fall off the back end of those guys. And now here comes Stefan Lawrence for a go at Bruce Tanek. He lifts out, actually. So it then is Stefan Lawrence fuel saving. There are questions to be answered, boys.
Yeah, that also is a question about do you fuel save? We got a car off in the background there? I'm not sure. There was a bunch of cars. I did say 4 cars. But you're right. So fuel saving, but do you gamble on just going hard and expecting a safety car, then fuel saving? It's a good question for a lot of these drivers, It makes that life easier too if you have your spotter in your ear giving those numbers. So you see now Cowie putting the pressure on to the back straight. We know he likes to make a pass down to the hairpin, so he's going to sit in the draft and see what he can do. I think he's behind Michael there. And he's already pulled out to make the move, but I think he's just too far back.
Has he gone backwards again? Because that doesn't look like P14 for Cowie. No, he has moved up. He has moved up. So it's down the inside of Troy Dooley, it looks like.
Cowie got a good start. So he's up 4 spots at the moment in the 10th position.
Look, I'll claim that on Wednesday night when I'm next on commentary duties with him. I told him to do practice starts. Look what it achieved.
Yeah, you got to rub it in his face. This definitely worked.
And then I'll follow it up by absolutely miffing the radical start on Thursday night. You watch. Right, settling back down into battling is Michael Quash, and he has got Matty Keane looking at him out of his windscreen. TMX versus SLM, and he's going to try and do his utmost to just sort of hang in there. I was actually having a big old chat to Matty Keane just about all weekend. Him and I have been running a whole bunch of Oval Series racing together, Matty Keane. He's starting to enjoy it more and more. He's really getting
this is a late dive.
Deep there from Cowie. He gets away without any contact, and how you can tell that is because Michael Quash has still not got any scrapings down that right-hand side. So great bravery from both drivers and great ability for Michael Quash to sense that Cowie was there and that he didn't need to defend it. And now Cowie will look for the inside line yet again. Gets there at the apex, but Quash is going to fight him at the middle of the corner. They'll both look to get back to the accelerator pedal. They're going to go even out of that wood curve.
Who's going to win the drag race? Who's going to go deepest on the brakes down here? It's all about who's got to send it. Cowie's going to... Oh, they braked at the same time then. But Cowie's, he's got the job done.
Yep, down the inside from Andrew Cowan and gets himself back to P4 in terms of Super 2 standings, which is going to net him I believe, 9th place overall. So he's cracked himself inside the top 10 now. And that'll be important if he's not too far behind Matty Keane, because Keane has been the bottleneck in this pack. And he's drifting backwards. And that is a very, very damaged 175 car. That thing is lit up in terms of everything all over it. It's Brett Taylor and Dean Sinkovic and Reese DeGoey just ahead of them. So
yeah, that might have been that car I saw off at turn 1 a few laps ago. As he was in this battle, and yeah, as we can see, he's got a little bit of damage on the side.
So he'll settle himself back in. This is the pack that we've got to keep our eyes on. We cannot take our eyes off of this. Troy Dooley had a phenomenal race, number 1, and he is continuing to drive quite well in race number 2. Locks a break up. The instant I start talking nicely about him, and David Coleman senses an opportunity. There is never an opportunity that the Fishy Boys cannot sense when something is lurking in the waters. He'll pick himself up a spot. I think that was Sam Noble just in behind him. Indeed it is. Noble will be looking for an opportunity to get past Dooley, and I think he's going to fire it down the inside here on the running upward curve. Gets it done by the apex. So 2 spots gained, or 1 spot each for both Coleman and Noble, and 2 spots further back from Troy Dooley. He might be just conserving just a little bit, so settling himself in, and that looks like Paulie Gerlin making way for Blake Delaney. Indeed it is. So Delaney's now back up into P4 overall.
So an interesting battle as well, guys. Sorry to interrupt, Scotty. The battle for the Super 2 Championship is actually on track right now with Cowie and Matthew Keane. That is our, 1-2 on track. In the championship, is Andrew and Matthew. So Matthew's leading the championship with 878 points, and Cowie just behind, 833 points. So they're actually on battling for the championship right now.
So that's closed up a lot more than I thought it had. So either way, they'll settle themselves in and continue that battle pack. So Matty Keane might want to get the elbows out and get a little bit defensive with Cowie, not just let him have it. The opportunity for both of them is that if something goes wrong, well, and one of them continues on, they might get something out of it. But anyway, decisions to be made by the both of them. Cowie might fuel save. That's a huge pack. And now it's going to be...
Oh, that's Jamie.
Yeah, it is. Down the inside of Stefan Lawrence, so he'll try and snag that one away. And he's caught up to Bruce Tannick at a whole rate of knots. Still down the inside of that one curve and run wide is Stefan Lawrence. And there is scrapings on the right-hand side of that car. And I think they may have just brushed each other, just made contact. Is that Delaney lifting out to try and redress the position? Sorry, Jamie Dyke will be?
It might be. Because Delaney's now got the job done quite easily there, and the Goldfish is just settled in.
He's not redressing it.
You might have to get a replay of that. But it's quite interesting as we see this train of cars here, and this has got a Fishy involved. And the leader of this is Matt Keane. He's, again, this is the battle for the Super 2 Championship. The top 2 of the championship are right here on track. And Cowie, as we see a move, is that Coleman up the inside?
There's Coleman up the inside, and Michael Quash in behind these guys and TMX cars. And have a look, that nose cone of that Holden V8 Supercar, it's coming. So Keane has got to keep his eyes plastered a little bit to that rear view mirror. Cowie tries to get a launch off the last corner. He's punching the hole in the air though now, Matty Keane on the run down the straightaway. Is Cowie going to close up? This straight is just barely long enough for that draft to start closing you back in. Deep on the brakes! We'll get the nose down the inside!
Cowie!
He's still there! Now he'll flick back to the outside, and Cowie's going to go the long way around here at turn number 2 at Okayama. Is he going to get the elbows out? Is he going to stay it down there? He'll have the inside on the run down outward curve. Keane won't want to lose another spot. Because that's the spot in the championship. Squarely over the grass. Keane is still there. Will run it around the outside. Cowie's been narrowed up a little bit. Finally gets the move done. Moves across to block it off. Now he'll try and wiggle back down to the straight to the right-hand side of things. Dean Sinkovic has just run off the track as well and will drop a few positions. And now defending down the inside is Matty Keane.
That is great for Cowie's championship there. He did say he wants to come here this season and take out the championship, and that's a position made that he needs to do to, take home the crown for Super 2.
Well, that's how you got to go out and earn it. You've got to earn it out on track. Ruining the opportunity of the first race, and now he's presented with one in the second race, and he is going after it. Albeit, it might be that Keeney, he hasn't looked stunning here tonight. Has not looked stunning in any way, shape or form. This is probably one of the weakest races we've seen out of Matty Keane. And he'll try and continue that strong run of finishes.
The Keen also might be going for the opposite to Cowie, maybe conserving a little bit of fuel.
That's
to
what I was
maybe
just about to
jump in
say.
later in the
Because
race.
remember, back at Fuji, who were the cars that went long and tried the one-stop strategy? Blake Delaney, Matty Keane, the two guys who tried it.
That's right, and the two guys that actually worked for, you know, they did a great job, saved the fuel, and they're the only ones that did that one stop. As we see a little tail wag there.
Can be a little bit more conservative on tyres with that fuel-saving strategy as well. Stefan Lawrence has dropped in behind Dawson, so I haven't heard anything on the radio that Stefan wanted that one looked at. So I think that was just a raw mistake. It's difficult to tell with the shot, the angle that we were looking at, but it looked like they made contact, but that could be the angle. It very easily could be that angle.
That's right. And, you know, when we come out and see a car with a little bit of damage on the inside, you know, we just assume, because that's how we are in commentator land, that there might have been contact. And it did look like it. A car runs off, so you put, you know, two and two together. And there's a great shot of that course vehicle sitting on the inside there for you, Shibby.
I would... I was about to make a comment about the course vehicle again, but I've already been.
So now swap back to Jerry trying to cut back through the field after his penalties. Sitting behind Dean Sinkovich here, so he's going to put all the pressure on. Dean says, "Nope, you ain't getting past me without a fight," and puts the car straight in the middle of the track. And it's great defending from Dean.
This is something that's really come to the fore of Dean's skill set so far this season. We've seen him in TCRs.
He might need to show his brother how to do it.
His teammate, Brad Wall. Well, you'd think if anyone on the two of them would be the hard guy to get past, it'd be Brad Wall, the rolling wall. But no, it's actually been Dean Sinkovich has been the guy that's been doing most of the defending successfully, and he's still continuing to try and chase down Greg Leake. Back up front, Tanek now has got a rear view mirror full of Fishy Motorsports cars, and they've had a long day at the office, those Fishy Motorsport cars. The Piranhas are hungry.
Yeah, that's right. And as we see Delaney here putting the pressure, as we see the car in front of Bruce just make a little simple mistake there on the brakes, locked it up, and that got the Fishy car alongside. Delaney is just trying to get the pressure as we... Ooh, there's a car there.
Alan Hodgkinson is the car that was just going a lap down at that point in time as we saw the battle for the leaders. He's gotten out of the way now. Was trying his best, but it still allowed that gap to close, and Jamie Dykes now lurking in the waters as well. When there's blood in the waters.
Goldfish, and he's trying to get all the pressure on not just his teammate, but also on Bruce as well.
The Goldfish and the male model is what's looking at Bruce Tanek in the rearview mirror.
Oh, the male. Oh. You mean the bus driver, the male model, and then Bruce Tanek.
The man who's having fun out in front is just trying to drive a race car and have some fun on a Sunday night. David Coleman continuing his march back through the field. He's starting to chase down the right Sim Racing boys. Indeed, he'll fire down the inside of Matty Keane. Matty Keane is starting to lose a little bit of time. He's coming back towards Quash. Well, it'll be Coleman that'll get around him, and Sam Noble will be the next guy who'll try and line up. Remembering this isn't for position within class. This is purely for position on track.
But I'm noticing a lot, and we spoke about it a couple laps ago, that Matt is just not putting up the fight. He's just letting these guys go. You know, it might be even better for him to get them in front so he can have all the tow he needs to save that field.
I think 100%. Just the way that how deep Cowie went down the inside at turn one. That says fuel saving. But
now I was on the lead. The lead again, Delaney's putting all the pressure on, putting his in the mirror. He's trying to show that he can go down the inside, but a bit too far back here. And as we ride on board the side here of the mirror, nice little look there.
I tell you what,
put the shades on for that one.
Tanek's tyres are just about toasted. He is running on the ragged edge, but we also saw Delaney light it up, getting underway back out of Hobbs. It is that's all the right-hander heading up to the second last corner. There's Mike Knight corner, followed by the corner that is quite appropriately named last corner.
So we're seeing the boys are only just about to get through. It's Delaney goes down, or no, a bit too far back again. But we're 18 minutes into this race for 13 laps. The boys just crossed the line, and is still a long way to go. It's definitely going to be time certain. We're 13 laps in, so it's going to be about a 26 lap race if I can do quick math in my head.
Tyson, we know you're better than that. Well,
what's 9 plus 10? 21,
300
that's right.
339?
Yeah, man, not quick math. That's good stuff.
Don't ask us. We're commentary people. We just talk. We're not good with the numbers.
That's right. That's what the producer's for.
David
Toddy's not good at that either.
Now coming back at Andrew Cowan. And Cowan's trying to set sail here. I don't know if that gap ahead is actually closing. But if Coleman gets through, that actually works in Cowie's favour.
That's right. I think another a car here, because you've seen Coleman push through. If Cowie can just let him go through and he sits on his rear, of course, they're not in the same type of championship here. And you want to try and build that gap out and really push on.
More lap traffic for the leaders as Michael Locke completely and utterly gets out of the way. That is perfect for Michael Locke. Just made sure he was not involved in anything whatsoever. So Cowie's going to continue to defend from that rear view mirror. Andrew Cowman, David Coleman, the C's of the track.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a look into turn one. If you see Cowie already shaping, says, no, I want to defend, but can't defend too much, and he's just going to have to nip him in the brakes. But Cowie seems to be strong in the brakes in turn one, and using all that outside curb to stick it on the track for the next corner on the left side. So he's just done a great job there. But Coleman's not giving up. But remember, if these guys keep fighting, it's going to hurt their battle to the guys in front of them.
So I was going to say, oh, Cowie gets all over the curbing and the grass once more. And we'll get away with it.
Yeah, so their lap times, you know, they've done 32 last lap. So Cowie's just, you know, that gap out front, these boys aren't battling in front of them. They're just in a train. And the cars behind them are in a train. So they really need to sort this out soon, or they're going to damage themselves in the long term.
Well, I'm just listening to Blake Delaney at the moment. I think... No, he's pushing on. He is pushing on. I thought I heard him fuel saving at the end of the back straight. But I have a feeling that... Oh, Coleman right there. Right under the rear bumper. And this time he'll fire it down the inside.
Cowie's going to have the line for the next corner.
He's not going to yield it. This is into Hobbs, and Coleman will be looking for the over-under. He'll be looking for the crisscross, looking for the drive on exit. Doesn't quite get there. He's going to have another crack, though. He'll line himself up for the first corner once more. He's already seen Cowan run very deep into that corner, and that's Michael Locke just ahead, who's a lapped car at this point in time. So Coleman's going to have a crack. Going to try and line it up. Too far back for my liking. Yeah, just about.
Yeah, because we know Cowie's pretty good on the brakes down to turn one, and he's shown it yet again. But I think David's just really chewing his tyres here. He's either got to work with Cowie or just get the job done.
Well, here's where he's strong. This is where Coleman's strong, is to run down the outward curve here. Now Cowan's sort of just going to pull away from him a little bit, shapes to the inside to try and clear the lap car. Locke's going to pull all the way to the left-hand side of the track and get out of there.
Good job by the lap car there, just sitting on the high line, let the boys take the inside.
Oh, hang on, there's a race on for the race lead. I just saw Delaney go down the inside of Bruce Tanek. Now he's going to fire it back down the inside here at the left-hander. Tanek's run a little bit deeper, carrying the momentum on the high side. Here comes Baby Dyke. The teammates will now go toe-to-toe down into the Redmond. Not quite far enough up. They will know better than to tangle for that. Has a crack at Hobbs to the outside. So now two cars, two fights become three-way fight. A little bit of bump drafting going on for the teammates. Little nudge. Come on, mate. Get it on with it. I need to get through.
So yeah, Coleman has got the job done now on Andrew, as we're still watching this battle here for the lead. And this, you know, as I said, we can't watch all the battles on track, but this battle is intense. It's for the lead. And it's a three-way hit, two fishy guys, and poor Bruce all by himself.
So something I'm learning watching these fishy cars is they're not strong on the brakes into turn number one, and you can defend around the outside at turn one. Oh! So that is Noble and Cowie as we flash backwards to have a quick look at what's going on further back in the pack. And Noble gets down the inside a little bit deep, locks up and nudges Cowan wide.
Blake Delaney's just come on the radio with a bit of contact.
I think Bruce was just a little bit loose coming through the middle of the corner. Bruce runs it deep this time. This is the opportunity for Delaney. Pinches him tight. He's going to look for the switchback again. Had to just barely get out of the throttle to get back underneath there. They'll go too wide. Down through Piper, the left-hander on the run to Redmond. He's up alongside. Can he be down the inside this time? They barely get through there. Now this has opened an opportunity for Dyke to get down the inside and Hobbs. Back to the right. Now Delaney will settle himself back in, and he just barely can't get it done. If he's thinking about a pit stop, he's got to have a crack, I think.
I don't think Dyke is actually trying to battle here, because there's so many opportunities where he can just send it and make moves, where I think it's going to hurt him and his teammate. I think he's just sitting here enjoying the show. I don't see him making too much aggressive moves.
Well, back a little bit further, this is Sam Noble down the inside of the Team X car. That's Michael Quash. Noble's cutting his way back through. I wonder if he redressed that one back to Cowie.
No, I don't think it's redressed. The Cowie's still behind, and the RC is still looking into that. So it's going to be interesting to see what race control come up with there.
Because we only caught a flash of it. We only caught the tail end. And that's cost Cowan, what, 2-3 spots on the road. So he was ahead of Keane. He was third overall in or third in the Super 2, sorry. Prior to that move, and now he's back to 5th, and that is championship impacting for Cowan. So
yeah, that's right.
Looking to hunt down onto Paul Gerlin.
Heard it over the race control. We're just a bit quiet there to hear what race control said. But they're saying the incident between Cowie is being in netcode, deemed as netcode, so it's play on.
I'm just wondering, if you're Jamie Dyke and Blake Delaney, when do you go for this stop? Because there's a horde of cars about half a lap behind them. So they're going to come out in traffic. So I think you got to run long. You got to run it deep. So Daniel Clutterbuck has had enough. He's going to jump through into the pit lane and be the first one to blink and quash. That's the Team X boys, both of them coming through. So they clearly had a plan.
Yeah, that brings me to the point of, you know, what does Cowie do now? Because he's in that position where he's lost a few spots. You know, maybe he should just kind of go the other way.
Yeah, get some free track, because he was fighting a lot and squabbling. Now down the inside.
Here we go,
Delaney's a lot further alongside this time and gets way out and away from Bruce Tannock. So they will go head to head. Well. And Delaney's in the middle here. And Dyke will try and shove the nose in. Thought about sending it 3 wide. Wow, Delaney's had to pull it up real short. And now he will get the move done. Blocks it off. Tannock has to slot back in. And now quickly from Delaney, he'll try and disappear up the road if he wants to earn this one away from his teammate.
Yeah, that was a good driving there. He went a little bit deep, but I think he also checked the brake. Oh, contact!
That's critical for Michael Quash, and that could be a freebie for Andrew Cowan, because Quash was in the middle of Keane and Cowan. Keane and Cowan.
Yeah, we might try and get a replay of that.
So this is the replay of the defense.
Here's a replay of the incident with Leaky.
This is down between turn 1 and turn 2. Well, I'd say Leaky's missed his brakes, or he's just not got the car pivoted, locked the car up. Yeah, it's turn 1. It's turn 2. Yeah, Leaky's not making the corner.
No, that's netcode. Play on.
Play on. Drift points.
Yeah, I think League's going to get a penalty for that. Is you're right. It's a mistake. Leaky called it out as well, so he's just either blindsided by a car that could have been leaving the pit lane. But
well, he was in the pits. Was Clutterbuck's, not Clutterbuck, Quash and Clutterbuck, sorry, and wasn't aware that he was rejoining and was going to be alongside at turn 1, and then didn't know that he was going to be alongside at turn 2.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, it's a bit unfortunate that sometimes you get expecting one car to do the something, and it does the opposite. So, and there's the penalty for Greg, just coming over the radio now.
For being to serve that probably this lap. And I thought Delaney might have skipped clear of this, but he's struggling with those rear tyres and the management just as badly.
What does Blake do best when he gets to the lead?
Skips
He goes
clear?
straight into the fuel-saving mode, because that's what he does. Because he can defend, he can fuel save. So we might try and get on board and listen to that engine.
Oh, I have been.
And he
I
might
have
be
been. Don't
saving
worry.
that fuel.
He's not saving.
And Paul Gerlin here trying to put the move on Jerry. Jerry's you know, just running his racing line car 12. He's had again an up and down race. He's sitting in P15 trying to push his way back through. He had a drive-through penalty early. And Daniel Clutterbuck.
Paul Gerlin's on his way out of the pits. So he's made a ton of ground in the pit. No, Clutterbuck's made a ton of ground on him during the pit stop. So it was a 34-second end-to-end transition through the pit lane for Clutterbuck. 19 seconds through the pit lane was a drive-through penalty for Gerard. Earlier on in the race.
Yes.
Yeah, and Paul Gerlin was 36 seconds end-to-end. And that looked too easy. That says Gerard's fuel saving.
Yep, and so he's probably, he could be listening to the broadcasting, doing that commentator's strategy that we talked about early in the race. You know, get on that fuel-saving mode and try and save that fuel for the race. Because we've only got 10 minutes left, 20 laps in. It's going to be interesting. I reckon about 6 more laps.
Well, I was going to say, the main reason for me to flip onto that fuel-saving strategy is because trying to overtake cars takes a lot of fuel. And it takes a lot of aggression. You're better off just backing it up and looking for the opportunities when they directly present themselves. And when they don't, save fuel.
That's right. And a great example of that as well today in the supercars. You know, Gizzy was just all over the back of Waters in that race, showing his mirror, just doing the mind game. And he sat behind and just showed his car, and then you saw Waters lock up, make mistakes all the time, and then he pounced. And he closed that gap nicely. And it could be another, you know, way that these guys think. Because that's what drivers think on how they can make the passes. Delaney did the same thing. He clouded the mirrors of Bruce Hannock, and then he pounced once he got the opportunity. As we see him run a bit wide there as well.
That's just his way of attacking outward curve. He's going...
He's already defending that line as well. He's straight on the defensive, hugging that inside line. And he's not giving his toe to his teammate. So they're clearly on two different things here, because sometimes you would give your teammate that toe just to drag him past.
Well, I was going to say the reason that he's not moving across is because he doesn't want to tow Bruce along. So Bruce is towing Jamie along, but not Bruce isn't getting the benefit of a tow down the straight. So the teammates, I would agree that they're working together. Yeah, I'm not upset with this drive from Paul Gerlin. Starting off in the front row, I think he's driven a very... I think he needs to be commended for this drive, because this is a wizened head drive. He hasn't over-defended things. He hasn't been aggressive with blocking. He hasn't... When the guys have been far enough up alongside to get that move done, he's yielding every single time. But he's not going to just hand it to them on a silver platter. So I'm really impressed with this drive from Paulie Gerlin. And he's only a few seconds back off of Daniel Clutterbuck as a result. And that is potentially going to leap him into a potential podium here in the second race in Super 2. This is when somebody said to me, Paul Gerlin has got a whole host of real world racing experience. This is exactly the sort of drive I expect to see out of him. Anyway, moving along with the battle for up front still, Delaney's back over on the racing line again. Satanic did get a tow that time. So that's why Jamie Dyke's not far enough up. Now is Dyke having a crack at the fuel strategy?
Well, that's it. Jamie might want to, you know, again, try something different to the cars in front of him here. I did think he was just sitting there nicely behind the two cars and just, you know, minding his own business, driving his own kind of race here. He hasn't looked too aggressive, like he wants to make a big move. So we might see how this race is. We only got a few minutes left of this race, 7 actually to go. And it'll be quite interesting seeing how this unfolds towards the latter stage of this race. We've seen a few cars pit. Let's see what the rest of the guys do in this midfield, if they're going to take the gamble or not.
Mike's still there and thereabouts. Big wiggle coming off at the final corner. but he will still be there. Delaney's shot clear enough now that he's no longer under threat from Bruce Tanek, and Tanek's still got to cover from Dyke in behind.
Yep, 7/10 is the gap to Delaney up front, and Dyke is just sitting right behind. You saw him down the straight there, just moving behind Bruce, sitting in that draft, that beautiful clean air. And
I've got 7 minutes left to go on this race. Not 6, but we'll see how well my timing's doing at the tail end of this one. We are 35 minutes into the session, so I would say the timing on screen is correct. So 34 minutes into the session, which means we've got 6 minutes left to go, and still no takers on those pit strategies, which means we've got a maximum of, what, 4 to 5 laps left.
Yep, quick math. Jamie's trying to make a move, I think, around the outside there, as we see a little bit of contact. But he has to fall back behind.
As far as I heard, it's been a frustrating day for the Fisher cars. So right now, the battle for the Super 2 leaders on your screen, I think Matty Keane has got enough fuel to go the distance here. Cowie caught him pretty quickly. So we got this done once already tonight as Andrew Cowan. Let's see if he can have another crack and get time number 2 done, dusted, and out of the way. Is he going to have a crack down into turn number 1? That's where he got the move done last time on Matty King. Might be trying to set that one up again. It's quite close there. Yeah. Through Hobbs. And on the run down to the final corner. Cowie's a long way back, so he's made a mistake there, coming up probably through Hobbs and Mike Knight corner. Run down the straight, he's not quite close enough. So he's there and thereabouts. Whether or not that is some sort of fuel saving strategy, we don't quite know.
Alright, sorry, I'm floating back, and just again, my internet playing a little bit of a mischief on me tonight. Sorry, everybody. That's good, thank you, Todd. I missed
Oh, Shibby. Shibby, you guys can't hear that. My word, I'm glad you guys can't hear that. Tyson just got savaged. Well, unmute your microphone and talk. You can do it anytime you like. Battle on board that you just saw from Chris Miller, and I think it was Greg Johnson he's immediately behind. So he'll try and get that move done, but the battle continues up in front. 3.5 minutes left. Leaders across the start-finish line. So I would say there's 3 laps left. Somebody's pit out of that front 3. No, Jamie Dyke has had a mistake in the last lap.
No, he's caught in the race control. There's something happened. So apologies, gents. We're just getting that replay up on what happened to Jamie Dyke here.
He's up underneath Bruce Tanek's rear bumper at the moment. And then something's...
So yeah, you might go back to the corner, to the hairpin, if you can do that for us, Shibby. There's some radio chat about the hairpin, so we might rewind it here. Bear with us with the DSL welding action replay.
There's nothing going on there.
So we're just going to see here. Jamie said something about the hairpin, so we might have a look here as we see him go on the left side. He's around the outside, holding the track well, and he's just been pushed. Oh. That's just racing. Good racing there. Of course, you made contact. I did call it. I think we're on board at the time as well. I did call that contact. But all good there. And as race control have to that issue, and then Jamie's just got on there, and he's just looped it around. He's kept it off the wall, which he's done a good job there, but he's lost a few seconds there.
So that will be race defining. So Dyke will be relegated to third and a distant third now when it's been a lot closer fight than that. Cowan and Keane will continue this battle on. Yeah.
So I think Cowie definitely know who he's fighting in the championship, and will want to get this job done. He's running out of time. He's only got 1.5 minutes left. So it'll be probably this lap, and then the next one will be the white flag. As we
leaders have gone through, so yep, there will be one. Yeah, there will be one more lap after this one.
Yeah,
Leaders
one
are
more after
already
this one.
halfway around the lap. So there will be 2 laps left to run as they cross the start-finish line. Which is interesting because we've seen no one jump to pit lane apart from about 5 cars.
That's
But
right,
the lap
and I think
times
that the people
have
were
sunk.
taking the gamble with the safety car, maybe.
So race control have just radioed in to say that there was no further action for the incident between Bruce Tannock and Jamie Dyke. So that is all that there will be looked at between those two. But anyway, it settles
Chris
on.
Goey there, and Clutterbuck having a bit of a moment, but the cars are looking nice and straight.
Well, I was about to say, Reese DeGoey is one of the slower cars on track at this point in time. So obviously tyre's not really going. He hasn't had a great race from Reese DeGoey. And Clutterbuck is the first of the cars to pit. So Tannock has not got enough fuel to make the end of this race. And he's pulled in the pit lane. And Jamie Dyke has now got Alan Dawson and Stefan Lawrence all over him. DeGoey's just run wide and dropped back. So Clutterbuck and Gerler will both get that position away from him.
Waved.
White flag is out.
Fuel.
There will be one more lap left to run. So who has got enough fuel? Delaney is so far ahead that he could run this lap 8 seconds slower and still finish comfortably in the lead. So there's no questions for him. Dyke and Dawson are neck and neck. Dyke is trying to go the distance, but I would say he's just about out of fuel. So second place might change hands on this lap. Troy Dooley has blinked. He's come down to pit lane. Bruce Tannock blinked on this last lap. Who's got the fuel? Who can make it home? Keep your eyes on Alan Dawson. He's looking for a P2 here tonight. He's got an opportunity. Can he make it stick? Cars still looking to go into pit lane in the background. Dean Sinkovic will be among them. Gerard Sanfuentes didn't have enough fuel to get home.
As I mentioned, I think Jamie was earlier on sitting there just behind those guys.
And guess who? Sam Noble's just dropped spots. So he might be out of fuel. He's just lost one to Matty Keane. Bruce Tannock has come out in the middle of those guys. Cowan is dropping further back as well.
Yeah, Cowan has Tannock dropped right in front of him, and I think Delaney's coming around the last corner now.
Slow running Delaney.
Checkered flag.
But it doesn't matter.
He's going to have another race win here as he crosses the line.
He lost 4 seconds to Jamie Dyke on that lap.
And there's Jamie Dyke bringing it home in P2, flashing the headlights.
We'll get it done for Jamie Dyke. Alan Dawson got very, very close at the tail end. Stefan Lawrence has now crossed the line, so he's got there. Coleman, will he make it across the line on that fuel tank? And grab P5 in class.
He does, and there's Cowie as well.
Get home. Cowan will get back in P2. Now it's a long, slow slog to get back across the line. So Coleman will get back for P5 in Super 1. Noble 6, Tannock in 7th. So Tannock was the only Super 1 driver not to make it on fuel. And it's cost him. But he had to lead the way for the Fishy Motorsports cars most of the way. Matty Keane, he's grabbed himself another race win in Super 2. He'll be over the moon with that one. Was not confident about tonight's racing. That's a car going slowly. That is surely out of fuel. Paul Gerlin started this race on pole position. Comes away with P5. Could have been better if he'd managed to save some fuel. I tell you what, though, he took 4 seconds out of Sam Noble on that last lap. So Sam Noble.
Yep, there's Delaney doing his nice big skid. So congratulations again to Blake. Great drive. And he's out of fuel. He just wanted to do a burnout. That's all it was. He's like, oh, I don't care. I'm going to just start from the back next round. See the other flashing light. It's hard to do burnouts when you're out of fuel. Well, that was a cracker. And, can we have a look at Jamie? Does Jamie make it back to pit lane? Yeah, he does. He's on the run down the hill now. He will. He's on the run into pit lane, so he'll get it back. Good job, Jamie. He didn't need the burnout. Oh, well, that's the benefit of finishing P2, isn't it? You don't have to do a burnout.
No one's going to sit there and make you.
Oh, well, he normally makes us look at him so he can do a burnout.
That is a very slow Matty Keane. He's...
Yeah, good job from Matty Kane. He's done a really good race here. You know, he was battling with Cowie there. He let him go in that early stages of the race, and that championship battle. Cowie finishes 9th, Kane finishes in 6th position in the overall standards, and a great drive there.
Can I just say to the Paul Gerland fan club, never stop coming back. We love you guys. And the Matty Keane fan club. We've got fan clubs coming up left, right, and centre. Look, to everyone out there that's tuned in tonight for what's been pretty much a classic here at Okayama, that reverse grid race, I think, is one of my favourite ones.
Light it up. Good stuff. And you're right, that was an intense, like, race 1 for the sprint race at the start was intense. We had action for the entire race. And we couldn't even fit in replays of what happened overall at the start. It was that intense. And, you know, that's always good to see some intense racing like that. And I enjoyed it. And then race 2, as we said, to double it up. And it was awesome to see again.
Far out. That was a banger. Wait, we're done already? That's Sunday night done? Far out. That went quick.
It did. It did really go quick. But hey, once you're having a good call and having fun, it's always things go quick.
It went quick, just like your internet dropping out.
No one laughed.
Says the guy laughing. Oh, here we go.
With the as well, guys, just while we're here waiting for our get the points all sorted out and see who we're interviewing. Just a big shout out to all our sponsors. We wouldn't be here without them, and I know Scotty's got the list, so I'll give it to him to give them all a shout. But
there's a list.
Big thanks to them.
Somebody wrote a list that I can read from. Whoever that person is, I could kiss them.
You wrote
it. So the sponsors as well. Don't forget, we'll have a Melville Equipment Corporation fastest lap coming your way from Okayama towards the tail end of next week. Roman Brown Tools are the latest sponsor to join the gang. Tools that legends are made of? I'll be right back, guys. I'm watching this ad. That's a banging ad. Whoever they've paid for that ad, they weren't paid enough. They've sold me. They've absolutely sold me. Warren Brown Tools. I need some new tools, so I know where I'm purchasing them from. My word, that's fantastic. Big shout out to Steven Sinkovich back in the chat. Happy birthday, mate. Congratulations on getting another year older. I cut your internet line as your birthday gift.
Yeah, I think you also cut mine.
Oh, we're finally ready to do our podiums. Do you want to do Super 2 first?
But also, before we get them in, don't forget, guys, Season 4 is all the registration open, as we talked about mid-race. Get in there, jump on the website, and come race these Supercars on a Sunday, the Monday with the trucks, the Tuesday with the dirts, and then for the Wednesday and the Thursday, definitely be probably reshuffling it up, changing the format a bit. But, you know, jump on our Discord, follow all our socials to get all the latest updates from the SRW team.
Love you. Stephen loves the fact that I went down and cut his internet, and I didn't stop in to say hello whilst I was down there. Righto, we're moving on to our Super 2 podium from our feature race only. So that means we're only looking at results from this race. We're not looking at any sort of round results or point shenanigans out of that whatsoever, because nobody wants to do mathematics on a Sunday night, as evidenced by us during the feature race there. It's Peter Pavlovich. That looked like a ton of fun, Peter. That was fuel saving, pushing, trying to make moves, trying to grab spots out on track all at once, and then some guys couldn't make the fuel last, and P3 and Super 2 just falls into your lap.
Yeah, wasn't quite sure what I was doing. I just thought, yeah, I could probably fuel save it, so I just tried to do my best, and yeah, it worked out in the end, which was beautiful.
We've seen some strong performances, different bits and pieces throughout the season, I think, here from you, Peter. The KFC liveries are quite easy to spot throughout the field. We joked, I think, at one point that Steven Sinkovich drives faster if there's a KFC car in front of him because he's trying to hunt down the chicken. Mate, I don't know. It's to be honest, from what I've seen from you this season, there's been flashes in the pans. I've seen some brilliance. I've seen some utter brilliance from you, but it's just making your way through those first laps. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination in that mid pack.
No, it wasn't, especially in the first race. Got caught up at the hairpin on the second lap, I think, and so just tried to push back, get into a good spot, finished just outside the top 10, and then just tried to gnaw my way away on that second race by fuel saving.
2 rounds left now in the season. So the championship's sort of coming to the end. Have you enjoyed yourself? I think is probably the most important thing.
Yep, definitely have. It's been fun. Kind of got a busted left foot at the moment, which is my brake foot, so it was a bit interesting. I didn't quite know how I was going to go with this race, but oh well, it worked out.
Well, when you walk away with a P3, you'll take it. Next week, I'm just looking at things. How bad is the foot? What have you done to yourself?
I smashed it into a door, and it's
Okay, so not
have
too bad.
killed a few. Yeah,
Is the door okay?
Yeah, the door's fine. My foot, hey.
I'm just having a quick look at our schedule. Next round is our enduro, second enduro round of the season, which comes to us live from Twin Ring. So it's going to be a very, very long Sunday night for you. Smash foot wise, you need to get yourself through. Why are we doing an enduro round the weekend of Bathurst 1000 on iRacing as well? That's going to be a long week for a lot of people. That's what we were seeing, I think, from the hairpin. It's just popped up on screen.
I agree. Another enduro, because I'm pretty sure a lot of these drivers, including myself, will be quite busy on track.
Anyway, with all that in mind, mate, are you participating in the iRacing official Bathurst 1000 next weekend?
More than likely not.
Well, you're going to have the advantage then.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go.
All right, well, thank you for jumping into the podium with us. This will be your opportunity, driver of the 216 Mobile for Century Motorsport. It is Peter Pavlovich. Who are the sponsors that make it possible for you, Peter?
So I'd like to thank KFC, Lake Edge Resorts, Fuchs Oils, Madcore Computers, Fluron Studios, and HRS.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Pavlovich finishes third place in tonight's feature race from Okayama. Moving on to P2 in the feature.
And, I knew you were clutching at the end of the straight because you were braking way too early. Oh, hey, guys.
I knew you were clutching at the end of the straight too, Cowie. You seem to be trying to do a little bit of fuel saving, and it sort of worked, and then you had to back out of it a fair bit at the tail end of it.
Yeah, I was talking to Matty Keane there. He said he was doing it the whole race, trying to toy with me, he reckons.
Yeah, we actually picked that up on the broadcast, Cowie. You seem to get past him. Sorry, Scotty, I'm stealing your thunder. But you seem to get past him quite easy, and we're like, hang on a minute, Cowie isn't normally doing this kind of stuff. Nah, he was. You could see he was saving fuel. He didn't defend to any cars that were near him. He just let them go, didn't battle them, sat behind them, get them punched the air, and it ended up working in his favour, didn't it? He ended up getting the win. You ended up going forward, getting into a tangle, and getting behind him.
I don't know what happened there. I haven't looked at it yet, but a car got up the inside me in a T1, so I went to go around the outside of him, and he washed wide and put me out on the gravel. It cost me about 3 spots.
Yeah,
I think
we
race
caught that
control
as
said
well.
it was net code, but that sort of hurt me because up to that point I was ahead of Matty, and I was able to sort of keep him back there. But no, it was good fun. It was a great race. I had to work hard in the first one, and that was really good fun, that second race.
Well, we're talking in between the two of them about how important it is to sort of get off the line quickly. Obviously, look, Kelly, I'm going to claim credit. I told you to do practice starts. Did it pay off?
Yeah, I got a much better start that time, though. Jerry got a shit one again, and I had to avoid him. I thought I was going to run up his butt there for a moment. But,
yeah, that wouldn't have been good, the two teammates collecting each other, but you definitely, those practice of the pit stops, not pit stops, sorry, the practice start at the end of the warm-up session there actually helped quite well. You got a good start, no wheel spin, and, you made a couple of cars off the start, so, and coming home in P2.
Yeah, I was finding if I could get my nose in at T1, you could sort of, you could put the car half across that curb and stay tight. And there's a couple of places where I could do that, and they give me just a sniff of room, and I was able to make a move. So I'm pretty chuffed with myself, buddy.
Yeah, we saw you using the curb and the exit of turn 3 a lot and getting very sideways multiple times. Do you remember doing that?
Oh, it's all about getting on the gas, man. So it's very easy to get on it just that tiny little bit too hard, and the rear end steps out on you. So, but
I
no,
think
it
we're
was
more
great
talking
fun.
about you
That's
cutting some grass for them down the inside of there.
right.
Are you reaching out to the track owners at any time this week to repay their facilities, or?
Not really, but the one that hurt, the one that hurt was the second last turn. I clipped the curb a bit too much and copped a slowdown with about 2 laps to go. That's why I fell back from Maddie. I couldn't. I had to.
Okay.
I was trying to burn it off, and it was still on as I went through the lefts coming down to the big right-hander. So I had to get right out of it to try and
Oh,
bleed
so
it.
that's how Tannic got into between you.
Mm,
Oh,
and
okay. We
yeah,
did
he
wonder how
made
that
the nip.
happened.
Yeah.
And you are P2 in the championship, right? And Keeney, go again. You fight with him.
Yeah, I
But
needed to finish in front of him, man. I got to take some
that's
points off
right.
him.
You got it. You're running out of rounds, mate. But congratulations on the P2. It's not the P1, but a P2 is still better than P3. So you want to thank your sponsors who got you here.
No, well, thanks very much, boys. Of course, thanks to SRW and you boys and comms. I know I had an awesome call with you last Wednesday night, Scotty. That was a crack up. And also big thanks to Toyo Sim. So if you're looking for a direct drive wheel, we've got the Camus direct drive, so you can quote our 5% off code. Was it PSR 5 off? Cowie Music, my own business. If you're in Queensland, you're looking for a soloist for a gig, give me a call. West End Motor Group, Too Easy Finance, Track Racer, Night Rider Designs, and our hashtag Talk to Me Bro.
And also, guys, while we're talking about Toyo Sims, it's also our one of our new sponsors, and they're bringing out a new wheel in the next coming weeks. So if you're looking for a new GT style wheel, keep your eyes on their website because they're bringing a new wheel, and I'm actually very excited myself because I'm buying it as soon as it's on the website, guys. So definitely keep an eye on that.
Perfect
Thanks,
to pair with the new
gents.
Moser products. They're actually coming out of Next Level Simulations. Right.
Right.
Sponsor Segway. We've been working on it.
Excellent.
Thanks,
well done,
boys.
Cowie.
Sorry,
Cheers.
Pagnian Advanced Imports, not Next Level Racing. Anyway, thank you very much. Driver of the 991 for PSR Racing, it's Andrew Cowan. Thanks, Cowie.
Cheers, boys.
Oh, Keeney. We have to talk to Keeney. We can just skip him, right? We'll just move straight on to Super 1. We want to talk to... Okay, Keeney's in the podium. Forget it. We're apparently going to talk to Keeney.
Well,
I like
Mr. Keeney, how you doing, mate? Congratulations on a good drive there. Defending, your Super 2 championship at the moment, sitting there in front of Cowie. The track battle was there. We were keeping a close eye on it, bro. Give us your lowdown. We saw the fuel saving and the defensive drive, so well done.
I'm great, Tyson. I'm all hyped up on Mountain Dew.
Oh, Keeney, never stop.
I never will, mate. Never will. Got to keep practicing the lines, mate. Need something to talk about.
Never stop winning because I want to hear you in the podium every week. Mate, tricky race there tonight. Cowie jumped when we dragged him up here. We actually caught the tail end of the conversation that he was having with you.
Yep.
Which was about fuel management. Tyson and I sort of noted it a few times. You were just happy for guys to send it down the inside. You weren't going to fight them. You weren't going to make it difficult, but they had to park the car in the right spot first to earn that respect.
Yes, correct. I was always going to let them have the space, have the position, but I'm not just going to let them walk into it. They can still earn it. They want to play the short run with the pace. That's fine. I know I don't have the genuine pace, but I've got the long-term game. It's proven now, Fuji, and now again here. I actually had enough fuel to go to lap 32, 33 easily, so I was in cruise mode.
Mate, you're making a habit of this, settling in comfortably. Fuji, a couple of rounds ago, you managed to settle in, get yourself to a really nice position to make that one-stop work. We've got another Enduro round next week, so you're going to be running the numbers on the weekend of Bathurst 1000, the weekend of the Bristol 500 on iRacing. There's just so much going on in this next week.
Oh no, I got my lines to write for the podium chat next week.
Sorry, I forgot the main event was talking to us on the podium.
I did more practice with Xfinity this weekend, running around Kansas, than I have done anything else. I just have been in holiday mode. It's good to have the end of the season and just of the officials and just nice and cruise weekend. I didn't think I'd do well at Okayama, to be honest. It was going to be like the dodgy round, and I called it before the race started, and we were having a giggle after the race that this was meant to be the dodgy round, and took a double podium across the sprint. So,
Mate, I mean, when you're putting things together at the moment, you're putting things together in strength to strength to strength. It's just been consistency has been a real mark of your season so far. What is it that's making it possible for you to put consistency on the table?
Look, at the start of the season, I didn't have the best run. The first 3 rounds, I don't think I finished on the lead lap, having a lot of incidents. But I was getting a bit hot-headed and getting annoyed. But the couple of the boys just have calmed me down again, got back into the enjoyment side of it, and just slot back into my lane, and away we go.
So what you're saying is, if people want to enjoy their racing more, drink Mountain Dew, is what I heard.
Yeah, get on it. And chew big red.
Oh, Lord, Petey. Mate, never stop. All of those sponsors for SLM, what are they again? Apparently Big Red and Mountain Dew?
Well, I'm waiting for Talladega Nights producers to go and give me a sponsorship to slap on the bonnet with a big cougar.
Why don't you just reach out to Will Farrell on Twitter and ask him if you can just use his face officially approved?
Well, I just made my Twitter account yesterday, so I think I might do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matty Keane drives for SLM Motorsports. There's no sponsors to speak of, but if you do want to get in touch with them and you're looking to partner with a team, Matty Keane might be your guy. Races in the NASCAR here at SRW and then also in the V8 Supercars. Matty, it's been a pleasure having you on the podium once again.
No worries. Thanks, Scotty. Thanks, boys.
All right, well, that concludes our Super 2 results for tonight, and that means it's time to move our way up into Super 1. And coming home in P number 3, it's going to be Alan Dawson. Alan, you weren't expecting Bruce Tannock to pit, I assume?
No.
So how does that feel, mate, when the result finally just sort of goes your way? It's from what I've seen from you, you and Stefan Lawrence, the teammates, have been crawling all over each other in these sorts of things. It's not been easy for you guys.
It's just practice for most of us, really, because we work long hours over the weekend. So we literally just get in the door and we're jumping straight on the sim by Sunday night.
It's not easy when you're sort of squeezed for time, and I think we talked to Bruce Tannock actually, and I think he said the exact same thing just a few weeks ago. But I mean, you're making it possible. You're putting the car's consistently there. It's consistently in sort of in and around the top 5. And are you happy with those performances given the limitations that you've got to drive around?
Could always go better, mate. But I was just happy to keep it on the track tonight.
Talk to us a little bit about the unique layout of Okayama. We talked a few times throughout the stream to the audience about, this is a track that's designed for your entry-level racing series. Is for iRacing. This is one of those series or surfaces that you come to learn your craft and very quickly move away from it and never sort of have to deal with it again. Is it a little bit like that for you? Have you done much racing around here at Okayama, or are those days long in the past?
Be honest, I did a couple laps of this track earlier in the week, and from before then was probably when I was driving a Mazda.
In terms of things, enjoyed the night, enjoyed a different track, enjoyed a different layout, something that you haven't probably, you've just said you haven't driven in a long time.
It's a cool little track, but a bit sad that I was in no man's land for a lot of that race.
Sound like you were bored sitting sort of at the back of everything. Well, good news. Tomorrow night, Bristol. Are you looking forward to Bristol in the NASCAR Truck Series?
Bristol's definitely a good track, but let's see if we can survive all the mayhem this time.
Look, mate, it's been a pleasure seeing you up in the podium. It's been a fair while between drinks, mate, so your opportunity to thank the sponsors to make it possible for the driver of the 62 Riot Sim racing car.
Just a big shout out to the Riot boys, Liz Holmes, FU Suicide, and a big shout out to the charity I support, that's Defenders for Hope. So no to the domestic violence.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Dawson, driving the number 062, Riot Sim Racing, comes home P3 in your feature race. Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I think we're doing this interview together again, aren't we? It's P2 and it's P1. It's checks notes. Blake,
that's the wrap-up.
Blake Dyke and Jamie Delaney.
Yeah, something like that.
Boys, fun night by the look of that. Reverse grid race looked like it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, we had a great tussle coming through. Lots of fun driving. I love driving with Jamie. We have a killer time when we side by side. So yeah, heaps of fun.
A ton of that there tonight as you guys were trying to cut your way back through the pack, particularly with Bruce Tannick. That battle raged. What was it, about 20 laps or something? That you guys are just sort of trying to pick your way through and past Bruce?
Yep. Bruce is not the easiest bloke to get past. Makes sure that he covers all lines, and it just took a little bit of extra oomph to get past him. So yeah, no, it was good fun though. We really enjoyed it. So yeah,
Jamie,
at the end.
From your perspective, you got up alongside Blake quite a few times there, just looking for the holes and the overlaps. I mean, from your rearward view, were you just saving a little bit of extra fuel? Were you chilling out? Were you trying to get the move done on Blake so that you can have a crack at Bruce? Or
no, I was trying to kind of push Blake into passing Bruce. Because the more pressure I put on Blake, the more pressure Blake would put on Bruce, and I was hoping that they'd both just fall off the track, but you know, they're better drivers than that.
Oh, I don't think either of them want to hear you say that. Look, you guys have had a pretty long weekend again, competing in other series as a Bathurst 1000, so that would sort of be a precursor to next weekend's iRacing official Bathurst 1000. Long weekend from sun up to sundown today.
No, we is it Scops next weekend?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're giving the official a miss, so we can do the Scops 1000.
So it's too much on next weekend. Are we going to be seeing you guys from we're at Twin Ring Motegi next weekend? What's the schedule looking like? Is that going to be something you can make, something you can't make? Obviously, that's quite a hectic weekend.
No,
we should be
if
right
it
for
finishes
night,
the same time Taipan did, then yeah, sure.
Yeah,
should be no problem. But anyway, all right. Well, look, I mean, hopefully we'll see you guys again next weekend. Racing there tonight, Okayama. We just chatted to Alan Dawson about, you know, this is sort of a rookie level track, something that you would see once and then you come back to maybe if you were doing something a little bit fun, something junior formulas. But is it been a while since you guys have actually been back here to Okayama?
Oh, it's been a long time for me, and we got in quite late tonight too, so didn't have a setup or anything really. We both just threw a setup on and tried something, and we're lucky enough to find one.
The last time we were at Okayama, I wasn't part of Fiji Motorsport.
Oh wow, there you go. That is a fair way between drinks. So, all right, well. Look, I mean, you know, tricky sort of track, technical track, but it's great for building your racecraft.
Yeah. Look, it is a tough little track. It's hard on tyres, so we chose a setup tonight that didn't have a 6 gear, so just to make sure that we had enough drive out of the corner without throwing rear tyres. So it was
for
good.
yourself.
Oh, okay, sorry. I chose a setup.
I used the same setup. I put the 1130 in it, and that's why I was gaining you on every straight.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, it was good. Like, a biggest thing for me is having a good battle with Jamie. We got some big races lined up in the next few weeks that we're racing together in. So it's always good to know that we've got similar pace.
Yep.
Yeah, I do see that Jamie's a lot faster than you two, so it's good to see that you know you're letting him have a win there, Dyking. Well, so well done.
Generally the case. He's
No,
the man.
It was a great race, boys. Especially that first one. You know, you worked together. You know, just sitting there, setting the pace, pushing the air, and then this race 2, cutting through the pack, not killing anybody, not biting anybody with the that piranha on the side, and Jamie's little goldfish on the side. So congratulations on the 1-2 in both the races, boys. So
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
yeah,
mate.
well deserved.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate it. Love working with you guys. Heap of fun in this series. Always good to get in and have a not a crash and bash, but a good drive and good fun.
Well, we'll give it over to the male model and not the goldfish to give the podium a celebration. Yeah, you got that.
I got him, yes!
So, it's male model. Take us away,
I
thanks.
should make Jamie do it because he'll fumble through them now. He's fucking smart asses. Excuse me. Thanks very much to West End Motor Group, Parramatta Peugeot Professional, Parramatta City Great Wall, West End Madison Parramatta, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, DC Shades, Relax Marine and Game Fishing, Adrenaline Images, Infinity Designs, who put the paints on the cars, which look awesome, and the man who gets the setup sorted out for us, Precision Sim Trainings, Josh Thomas.
Ladies and gentlemen, Blake Delaney, driver of the 08, winner of your feature race here tonight, and your heat as well. Jamie Dyke comes home P2 in both of our races. Thank you, boys. We'll see you again tomorrow night. He's joining us for Bristol Racing in the trucks.
Yeah. We'll have a bit of fun in the trucks for sure.
All right, we'll see you when we go back racing tomorrow night. All right, that wraps us up here from the short circuit racing of Okayama in Japan, the land of the rising sun. It has been a long weekend for a whole bunch of these drivers, and they're now sitting back, relaxing, and about to get their rest. I hope that you all have enjoyed everything that you've seen here from another broadcast from the Sim Racing World TV channel. Remember, tomorrow night we've got your NASCAR trucks from Bristol. Dirt Sprint Cars will be coming your way on Tuesday night. Wednesday night we'll see the return of the TCRs and hopefully Tyson McAvoy, who won't be out looking his finest, fresh and dandiest for a football presentation. Instead, he'll be here racing along with us, followed by Formula 3. Moving on to Thursday, we will have the SR8 Radicals and the Porsche 992 Carrera Cup cars. And then finally, rounding us out on Sunday again next week with the V8 Supercars yet again. Big shout out to all the sponsors that make it possible. You can see a fair few of them tattooed all over the screen on board right now. DSL Welding Services, Pagnian Advanced Simulations. Go and check out all the new hardware over there because they've got some next level gear to keep your racing moving through the next level, including the new Moser wheels, which are apparently getting quite good reviews, so I can strongly recommend them. DragonRC, who have been more and more interesting to keep your eyes on with the RC world. I'm literally this close to probably purchasing an RC racing car, so it will be through them. Melville Equipment Corporation and Warren & Brown Tools, because I tell you what, Warren & Brown have been awesome with that ad. I'm buying some new tools. Yeah, I do want to see that ad again. I've just been offered to see the Warren & Brown Tools ad again. I want to see it. Check this out. If you haven't seen this already, this is killer. Oh, mate, I'm over the moon. I'm buying some new tools. Righto, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone for joining us. That is it. That is going to wrap us all up. Signed, sealed, and delivered from Okayama. My name is Scotty Rattlegun Rankin. He is Tyson, Mr. Fresh McAvoy, and we'll see you all next week when we go racing once more.